Hey guys, welcome to building a desert table for Malifaux part 4. In part 3, we went ahead and spackled everything and did a lot of prep work. In this episode, or in this part, we are going to do a little more prep work, and then we're going to have fun and paint the thing and the rocky side faces and everything. So it came out pretty good. I'll let you guys decide, so check it out. And we continue our foray into sanding. Okay, so what we're going to do is just sand most of the, sticking up parts, the really rough parts. Just sand that down, sand it towards, the wall, or sand it down to the floor. We don't have to get too detailed about it, but it's just cleanup work, basically. Now, as you can see here in the next, right there, you see that? See, it's not very natural, is it? We'll just sand it down. Now we'll go ahead and use the 50-50 mix of the PVA glue and the water to go ahead and spray it onto the bark. This helps seals it a little and holds it together. When it's really dry the way it is that comes in the bag, if you rub against it or whatever, it can chip. Now after doing that, we have to let it dry. It took me a few days, a couple of days actually, but I had other things to do anyways. Now, someone in the comments mentioned that if you don't rough up the foam, the plaster the plaster and the drywall stuff or the patch will come right off. Now, I never had that problem, but now he's got me a little paranoid, so let's go ahead and do that. Now, what I'm doing here is taking the regular spackle and then just putting it to water. What we want to do, get a consistency of like cake batter, okay, or melted ice cream. So if you want any other cool little anecdotes, just let me know and message me. But we'll just liberally just brush it on. The brush strokes really don't matter at this point. What we're doing here is really just sealing up the foam underneath, just to protect it from other stuff that we will be doing later. You never know. Okay, so I have to set this up a little bit. I got this sprayer, paint sprayer, really cheap one on Amazon. And I said, yay, cool, this make it really easy. And I hooked it up to a regular compressor I use for airbrushing. Not enough power. So I decided, hey, I have a tank somewhere with CO2 still left in it. Let's grab that and use that. That's going to give me more than enough PSIs. Problem is, did it for like the first 30 seconds and it ran out of air. We're using standard res to primer this here, so basically, like I said, it ran out of air here in a moment, and I'm just like, So I went ahead and just grabbed my Badger 360, which I turned it upside down to make it into a siphon feed brush. It could be gravity or siphon feed brush, and basically just mixed it up. Now I did cut down the primer about 2 to 1, just to get more usage out of the primer. So here we are primering the board with the airbrush. Now this works really well if you had small, terrain pieces, or a nice sized terrain piece that's still workable with the airbrush. But I'm doing the whole board here, so this is getting tedious. Here we go. Look at me putting on primer on this big old 3x3 board. Okay, so alright, a little meticulous. I mean, all I need to do is get the primer on. I really don't need to be that accurate with it, so kind of a little underkill with the airbrush here. Now we gotta primer this just to get all the areas, just to make it easier to put on the paint later. So this just got really frustrating, and I just said, you know what, we seal it, screw it. Sometimes you just gotta manhandle everything. Grab the can of sandable primer, white, and just sprayed the heck out of the whole board. Now it's drying downstairs right now while I'm recording this, so I don't know, I might have to change the title to Desert Board to Swamp Board. But hopefully it works out. I'll go and check it later. We'll see what happens. And it made it unscathed, well, for just a couple areas where it wasn't sealed completely, so it had cracks in it, but it looked good. Just left it, no big deal. Now this kind of nutmeg laying around. It's the color is nutmeg, and it's a primer color, whatever they call it. So we'll just go ahead and model the floor. Just have some dark areas, light patches, whatever. This is so when we flock over it, gives it a little more depth. And here's the fun part. First of all, we take craft paint. Now these suckers have big heavy grains. I don't know how people could paint with this stuff. When I was rinsing it out, it was like beach sand in a cup. Well, anyways, we have tan, burnt umber, I believe that is nutmeg, and then Tuscany red, and then black. What I did here was did a 3-to-1 mix on everything except the black. The black I did a 10-to-1 mix. Now I'm not used to these craft paints, so I think I over diluted it, as you can tell here. What I'm doing here is trying to drench it, doing a wash basically is what we're trying to do, and it is not working. It is way too diluted. So what I did was redid those colors, not the black, and then I also ditched nutmeg. So what I did was do a 1 to 1.5 ratio mix, and it worked much better. So now that we got the mix right and $1.50 later, we went ahead and just dredged it. What I did was do burnt umber first, you can see here. Then I went over with tan. Now, by this point, I went ahead and ditched nutmeg. Well, I decided we don't need nutmeg. It was too close to Tuscany red and burnt umber, so really didn't need it. So here now I'm drenching over with tan. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is Tuscany red, and then I'm going to drench it over again with burnt umber. So you get this mix, you just do it haphazardly, randomly, wherever you can, and then we run the black wash over it. Now, as you see, it really gives that rocky feature, and then with the little red in it, with the Tuscany red, it gives you that more kind of like Arizona reddish desert thing, because I'm going to go ahead and probably put some reddish sand to flock it down and stuff, and make it look like those red deserts you see in those pictures of Arizona and stuff, just a little bit. But as you can see, I'll let it run here, and then you'll see how it turns out. It's like kind of really cool. It's like magic and stuff. So I'll go ahead and do it a couple more pieces. I'll just fast forward to a couple more areas of the table I did, and we'll see the overall effect. And I'll just let it run here. that's it, guys. Here you go. It's still a little wet, so it looks a little wet basically. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you like how the rock came out and learned something out of it. In the next video, we'll go and I guess flock the board with sand and stuff like that, and put in some shrubberies, and then we'll start putting in the buildings. I don't know how many parts that will come, but we're almost there. But we're in the fun part, guys. Well, anyways, thanks for watching, and remember, like if you like, sub if you haven't, and please share where you can. I will talk to you guys later. Ingenium Mortis is the first piece from the WGC Games and Gears Dark Malice terrain line. If you like what you see and want to support the WGC, purchase one today. Check out gamesandgears.co.uk or click on the link at the video description below. Thanks and lots of love, guys.